Alright, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to another Warframe showcase video. Real quick before I get into it, I did just want to say thank you all for the support on the Mesa Heirloom video. I'm glad it resonated with a lot of people, and I'm glad it blew up the way it did. Um, that's all I have to say about it. I don't want to drag this on too long. So, today we're going to be covering Zephyr. She is really good Warframe, really strong, really good with crowd control. She has some survivability. And for those of you who don't know, if you're new to the game or you haven't picked her up, she is a bird frame. So yeah. What are we gonna go over this video is gonna be her stats because I am using Zephyr Prime. We're gonna be going over her stats, compare them to the base stats. I'm gonna tell you how to get her real quick because she's really easy to get. And then we're gonna go over her abilities. Once again, I want you all to know that this is max rank with no mods. Then we're gonna come up with a build for people who are either just picking up Zephyr or beginners or people who are like in the mid game. For me, anything before the new wars like the mid game. I could even say like a sacrifice, but we're gonna be going over that, and then we're gonna go into a live demonstration. I'm gonna show you how to utilize her abilities. And the second half, you don't really need to watch it. So once you get past this part of the video, you can go ahead and get off. But I tend to yap on the second half, and yeah, so anyways, let's get into the video. I am once again using Zephyr Prime, so just keep that in mind. Let me take all this stuff off just to make sure we have a clean slate. And we'll have nothing else. Okay, so what are we doing? Zephyr or Zephyr Prime? Okay, yeah, we're gonna compare the stats. So I'm using Zephyr Prime, which as you can see. By the way, I hope you like the drip. I'm not gonna lie, I like the way the energy is for this, and I kind of made something for Uriel, but yeah. Anyways, gonna compare Zephyr to Zephyr Prime. So down to Zephyr. So Zephyr at at her base, her health and shield stay the same at 455. Armor goes up from 105 to 135. Energy goes up from 100 to 175. She and her sprint speed goes up from 1.1 to 1.15, so she's just a little bit faster. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The only differences with primes is just a little bit of stats, so it's nothing too crazy. You're not missing out on anything. Um, and yeah, as far as how to get there, yeah, you need to be a part of a clan. You need to go to your Tenno lab, and in the Tenno lab, you can get 3 frames. You can get Neza, Wukong, and Zephyr. Zephyr is one I highly recommend you pick up. I have a soft spot in my heart for Zephyr because back when I was coming up in Warframe, I picked her up, and she was huge game changer for me. And I love her kit. I love how she plays. I don't use her that much, but yeah. So let's go over the passive. What you're just seeing right now. Every time she's in the air, she can aim glide longer. She can move slower in the air. She has less gravity on her. And another thing to keep in mind is she has 150% crit chance while in the air. So you're always going to want to be up in the air as much as you can. Your abilities help you stay up longer, and that's pretty much how that works. So, going on to her first ability, Tailwind. Tailwind is actually 2 abilities in the one. Back when Zephyr, before she got reworked to what she is now, she used to have 2 abilities. Her first ability should be 2 separate abilities, which is Tailwind, which you can look in any direction and you can zoom around, which is good. And I think each time you spam it in the air, it takes less energy, so that's what that looks like. Second ability, I forget what it was called, but I would always joke and say it's a predator missile because you go up and then you look down and you can just do that. And back then, what you can do is you used to be able to stack heavy impact. Not only go down, deal damage to you, but knock enemies down because the damage would scale with how high you were. And it's a really fun ability. So another thing with Tailwind is if you hold it in the air, you can stay in the air. So I'm here, I'm holding it, and you can see you're up in the air. You can move around. Obviously, as you move around and you glide, you can it'll drain energy. So this is a good way to get your aim glide challenges done for the Rivens. That's a good way to utilize your passive. So you're gonna want to take like a primary weapon that has crit. I'm using the Aceltra just because at range the rockets explode. So there's that. And as you're up here, if you're gonna run out of energy, you just aim straight down and do that. And just keep in mind when you're up in the air doing that, sometimes you might not always get that kind of thing. You just go into like a regular tailwind. So what you might want to do is just make sure the angle in which you're looking at is steeper, so you can go down and cause that damage. So yeah, if you want to look at the stats, we can go over the stats for the first ability here real quick. Dive bomb is the second one it's called. So yeah, so if you go through enemies, it'll deal damage as well. This is what the damage is looking like. Dive bomb is my favorite ability. If you want to get the most out of it, you got to go with strength and range. And yeah, it's pretty much what you want to do. I always joke and say it's a predator missile. So if I'm up, I'm like, oh my god, where am I going to go hit? And I'm like, oh, predator missile. Love it. Second ability. So second ability is very fun because it's good form of crowd control at an early level. So it has two functions. Well, it has three, but the third one is a synergy with the fourth. So we'll go into that. So essentially what you do, you can either group enemies together by tapping it like this. Groups enemies together. You can do damage on them. And if you want to disperse enemies, you hold it and it'll do that. So tap does that. You can do whatever damage you want. Hold does that. Hold just disperses enemies. So let me show it right here. Oh, I need energy. Once again, you hold it. You disperse enemies, knock them down. They take damage. Pretty good. Alright. Now for your third ability. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna clear these guys. Bring out the corpus because they're best at showing them. I'm gonna unpause them. And here's what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna pause them for now. Spawn them in. So the third ability, when you cast it, it gives you like a little air shield. I think it's called Jetstream. And what happens is any projectile headed your way is redirected. Now this doesn't stop melee units, but projectiles, beam stuff, it kind of disperses them. So that's what it is. It's on a duration. So if you want to get the most out of this, you're gonna want to go with duration to keep it going. And yeah, so I'm gonna unpause the enemies. You're gonna see what's up. Let me just double check if there's any other benefits to the third. No, that's all it does. It just it redirects a lot of incoming projectiles headed your way. So there is, I say that because also there's an augment that increases your movement speed and some other stuff, projectile speed and stuff. So it's pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna unpause these guys, and you're gonna see what happens. So I'm gonna activate it, and as you can see, all the projectiles are getting redirected. I'm not taking them damage, and yeah, that's pretty much what that does. This is your survival kit, so if you wanna keep your survivability up, you're gonna wanna keep this up as much as you can. Obviously, as you're in the air, enemies are less accurate to you, so there's that. This is a good way to also redirect the bombards, since people hate them a lot. If you're new, you're gonna like hate them a lot. A good Warframe to just keep everything away. Mind you, this is rank 30, no mods. Just showing off the third ability like as is. Yeah. It's not going to stop melee units. It's not going to stop those drones unless they're shooting at you. Any form of projectiles will get redirected. So, yeah. Now, while this is going on, I am going to show you the fourth ability, which has... There's two ways you can use the fourth ability. So, let me see what it is. Oh, let me just summon it. So, this is tapping it. This one's going to allow you to just... It'll send the tornadoes wherever there's a cluster of enemies, and this is a good way for just It's a good way for controlling the enemy. It's a good way to keep in CC. So back then, what you used to be able to do is you used to be able to shoot them and influence the elemental damage they deal. So spreading that element status. Now, what you do is it transfers not all of your damage, but it transfers a portion of your damage into the tornadoes, and I think it multiplies it a bit. I could be wrong. Let me double check because I haven't. I know what it does. I just freaking don't know how to put it to words. Shooting engulfed enemies inflicting extra damage. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, you shoot the tornadoes, it'll deal damage to them, and that's all it is. So once again, if you tap it, it'll group enemies up. And one thing to note is while you're in the air, whatever tornado is closest to your reticle, you can control where it goes. So just keep that in mind. And then another function that you can do is you can hold it. So I'm gonna spawn these guys in. I'm gonna make myself invincible. No, I'm not even gonna die. Spawn these guys in. Let them spread out. You hold it, and your tornadoes are more controlled. Their goal where you're aiming, you can control them once again by aiming, obviously. And really good way to, like I said, inflict damage and keep enemies clustered together. Now there is a little fun thing you can do with this. I mean, these guys are gonna die, but I'm gonna just hold it so you can get them all here. What you can do is shoot your second ability at it, and it'll make them bigger. I don't know how this plays. I don't know if you're seeing it, but you definitely make it bigger. Unless you removed it, but from what I'm aware of, is you can make them bigger. I'm gonna tap it and spread them out. See this one. Huh. Having a hard time showing it off. Let me see if I can do it again. Let's see. Hit here. Oh, what if I hold it? I'm not sure if they did something to change it, because they used to be able to make them bigger. So they can have like a greater pool and stuff. I don't know, we'll check it out later. But yeah, that's a thing you can do. I'm not sure if that last part has changed or not. It's been a while since I picked up Zephyr, so just keep that in mind. And now we're going to go into the build portion of the video, which I have to reiterate is only for people who are just picking up Zephyr, to give you a template on how to, like, where to start for beginners. And for people going through the mid game who, like I said, just picked her up. Okay, this isn't meant for like end game stuff. You can take her into like steel path and stuff. She can do real good with the crowd control, but this is meant for people who are either picking her up for the first time or people who are interested in her or who are new at the game. Okay. These videos, for those of you who don't know, have been instructed like that on purpose. They're very vague, as the whole goal is to show you the ability separately and show you how they synergize later on. But the whole point is to give you an idea of what they do and what the abilities are for. So just keep that in mind. And I'm gonna go in this with a new like player mindset kind of. If I do use prime mods, because this is also meant for like mid-level players. If you're new, don't be like, oh, I don't have that. You'll eventually be able to farm the base mod, which is still really good. It still does the same thing. The only difference between base and prime mods is that the prime values are doubled, I think. So, not that bad. You're still going to perform the same. You're going to get the same benefits, like the same effect on your Warframe. So, even if you don't have, let's say, like prime flow, flow is going to work good. If you don't have prime continuity, continuity is going to work good, and some other stuff, right? If I use a corrupted mod, those mods are easy to farm. If you're a beginner player, it's easy way to make plat. Basically, join a clan, go to the solar rail, I think. Get the corrupted hollow keys. Go to Deimos, not the Necrolis. Go to Deimos, like the planet. Go through the nodes, and if you have a squad of 4, just go unlocking vaults. Each corrupted hollow key will have a negative effect on you, so just keep that in mind. And then what else? If I use a set mod, those are, you can get them pretty early on. You can get those from Cetus, Fortuna, and Deimos, which highly recommend you do the open worlds. The open worlds have a lot of good stuff for you to use, stuff that's going to help you out in the later game. So definitely do not ignore them. So yeah, with all that being said, let's get into the build portion of the video, which once again is for beginners to mid-level players. So Zephyr, right now we have a clean slate. I did have 2 Forma on her for my build. Um, by the way, the live demonstration, I'm going to be using the build that we make, so you can see like how it works. All right. So knowing what I know, she is very keen on having durations up. So before we get into the bottom part, let's start with what the important thing is: the aura mod. So aura mods, you can get them off Nora Knight. She usually comes in with some, and they rotate obviously every week. So just keep an eye out on her cred shop. Since we do have a D polarity here, I am gonna wanna throw on. Um, I could throw on Dreamer's Bond to have a little bit of health and energy duration, since it's like a universal mod. But in this instance, I am gonna wanna go with, what do I wanna go with? Mm, what do we wanna go with here? We'll just throw on Dreamer's Bond. Why not? Don't want to think too much about it. So we'll throw Dreamer's Bond. Obviously, if you do take care of the aura, it'll increase your capacity. So just keep that in mind. Now, as I was saying, so she's gonna be based on a lot of strength. So you are gonna keep her abilities up for a while. So you're obviously gonna want to go with flow for more energy. You're gonna want to go with continuity for more duration. We do need a little bit of strength, so we're gonna throw in intensify. Um, and then for that additional D polarity, because I think I only form this one and this one, so I think it comes with these 4, the prime. Um, you're gonna go with either Vigor or Prime Vigor. Prime Vigor, if I'm not mistaken, is a login reward, so if you don't have it yet, don't worry about it. You can get it eventually. Vigor, you can farm. Here it is. So I'm gonna wanna throw up this for my survivability. It'll cover my health and shields. And then, if you want something to cover with for armor, what you can do is, give me 1 second to armor. You can throw on either armored agility. These are more, this is a Deimos one, you can throw this on as well. Let's go with, since we are constantly in the air, see if we can find something with that. Well, you can throw on steel fiber, honestly. That's really up to you. Um, hmm. Um, yeah, that's what you can do. I'm not gonna throw on anything armor related because I don't really need it, but you can go down that route. So right now we're looking at 130% strength, 150% um, duration. I'm gonna throw in transient fortitude to get a little bit more of my strength for my abilities. That'll offset it just a little bit. And then I do want to add a little bit of range for the tornado so that it can spread out further. So you can either go with stretch if you want, or you can go with one of these, auger reach, which is a little bit of range. You can throw an auger message as well to recover a little bit of that duration that we lost through transient fortitude. These you can get them in serious bounties. And then for the last one, since we do have a lot of capacity left, you can throw on whatever you want on the last one, to be honest. I'm looking at 17. Let me see what I would do here. Um, I'm trying to keep it as accessible to new players as possible. Once again, if you don't have any of these mods, don't worry about it. You can slap on whatever helps you with what you got. It's just in knowing where to farm for these. So, could we throw in an augment? Do I have an augment for her? No, I had an augment for her. I'm surprised that's gone. I must have deleted it by accident. Hmm. No, I want something simple. No. Nope. Nope. You can throw in Streamline for some efficiency. Efficiency, what it does is it just makes your abilities cost less. So once again, if you don't have a lot of these, you can swap them out for whatever you need, whatever works for you. But all in all, the in-session ones that I would recommend are Flow, Continuity, Vigor. If you have it, I will stand by it. This is a good mod. Um, I don't use it now because I have more stuff to keep myself alive, right? But for like in a beginner or someone who's going through the game, a Vigor or Prime Vigor is really good to have around since it covers both health and shield. Um, yeah, so essentially you're just gonna want flow, duration, strength, a little bit of range, and you should be good. Anything else is extra. It's a good way to start it off. Now we're gonna be taking this into live demonstration to show you how it all works out. So we're gonna go with this. If you want to see what I'm running with on my build, here it is. I'm running Dreamer's Bond, Flow, Continuity, Transient Fortitude. I'm running Umbro, Intensify, and Vitality for the health. This is for the armor and the strength. A little bit more strength, range, more strength, and this is going to get me over the 200% strength. And this is just to keep energy going because you do tend to use a lot of her abilities, like to keep them up. So I use this to get more energy off my orbs. So that's what I'm running with. But this is something you all can use. These are the weapons I'm going to be taking. Excelsior Prime. So essentially an assault rifle that that shoots rockets like plasma rockets, but they arm past a certain range, so you can shoot it close and not self stagger. I'm running the Prisma Angstrom, which has the Incarnate, so really good. And I'm running this just because sometimes I'm in there and I want to slam, and this is a good weapon to slam with. So yeah, when I used to use Zephyr before we get into the live demonstration, I would role play as an AC-130, so I'd be flying around a lot in like maps, and I'd just be shooting down on people, and still serves that purpose. And along what I'm gonna be taking for my companion is carrier. So still don't have the carrier prime, but so here's what's up. Before we get into it, also one more thing. If you're running anything that's explosive, you've noticed that the ammo economy sucks. If you want to bypass that, farm carrier, get that. And you're gonna want to get the mod. Where is it? No. You're gonna want to get ammo case, which converts other drops into primary ammo or whatever ammo you have equipped, and you won't even notice like the ammo thing. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to my ship. I'm gonna be taking um this build that we have, and we're gonna see what we can do. Okay? Give me 1 second. I will be right back. My ship. I didn't change anything. Trust me. I just wanted to get this out of the way real quick. There is the anniversary stuff going on. This week you can pick up the Lisette deck skin. You can pick up the Dex Dacra, which is really good. This isn't a skin, this is a whole weapon. Then you have an event going on for Foley's thingy for whatever for the ink blobs. I wonder what they look like honestly. But yeah, there's that if you're interested in doing that. And yeah, we're gonna see what we can do. First off, let's double check if there's any good Fisher missions, because I'm always on that. Nope. Any interesting sortie, augmented enemy shields? I want to, but not yet. What do these have? Corpus Siege. I'm only gonna do one of these. Don't worry about it. Exterminate, defense. Nope. Forward. Don't care about that. Exterminate, mobile defense. Yeah, we'll do a mobile defense. We'll do this. One of these. Let me just double check that I am in friends only. Where is this thing? Is it this? Nope. This? Nope. This? Nope. Where are you? Was it this one? Yeah, this one. I'm gonna support the Corpus in this one, so we're gonna go up against the Grenier. And just to show off the abilities, I want something kind of like challenging, so I think this would be a good middle ground where it's nothing too crazy and it's a good length, so yeah. Now it's hard to make her work in these sort of tight corridors, but it's all about just knowing your kit, knowing when you have chance to move, and yeah. We have 3 access points. Gotta do this.
You've got to find a terminal.
Okay, now we have fun. And yeah, the trick is just keeping her third up as much as you can. I mean, obviously, if you're not like taking a lot of damage, then you don't need to. But if you feel like you got a lot going on, it's a good way to keep your survival going. And if you want to spread, if you want to have more... Oh god, I don't have the wrong freaking thing. It's fine. You gotta have more crowd control, like I said, just tap it, and the tornadoes will go where they are needed. And they're up for a good amount of time. As you can see here, the duration has gone up. And it's a good way to just, like I said, crowd control. She's good at that. Damn, they haven't done that. I think they changed it. I think.
Terminal hacked. Keep moving.
And what else? Let's see why I like the Prisma Angstrom now. She's evolved. And she's, like I said, she's good at, like, if you take her like in open worlds and stuff, she's good at just moving around. You don't need like much of an arc when you can cover like a lot of distance with her. Bruh. The only thing with this freaking gun is that it runs out of... It doesn't run, it freaking... The recoil on this is insane. I'm waiting to get in a Raven for it, to be honest. It's making you dizzy, sorry. And yeah, it's pretty much all there is to her. She's very simple frame. She's really strong. You just have to understand her kit. And once you get the hang of it, playing the game is really easy. A lot of people don't like her because she takes too long in the air, but knowing how her passive works, kind of understand why it's important to stay in the air, and knowing that her kit helps you stay in the air longer, is really good. Kind of hoping for more enemies, I'm not gonna lie.
Move on.
And for me, when I run the fourth, I usually just tap the... I usually just tap it. I don't really see a need to keep them all controlled. I've always liked that. Because I think back then they used to change it to where... back then people would complain that you had no control over where the enemies are at because they're always like flinging around everywhere and stuff. Kind of like how in Naros' tornadoes work. But it's never really bothered me. I kind of like the fact that they like go around spinning and stuff. Freaking hilarious because they get launched everywhere. And yeah, and I hope with all this you're able to understand how it is Zephyr plays. I hope you're able to learn something with this Warframe. Really fun stuff. I recommend you not sleep on her because she can take you to like high level content, and obviously so long as you just manage your third and you know when you need to use what abilities, you'll be fine. And pairing it with an explosive weapons is really fun. Like I said, I roleplay as like an AC-130. What else is there? Another thing, also, if you aim, if you kind of like aim glide when you're casting your fourth ability, you can kind of decide where it is they go. If that makes sense. And come on, you gotta tell me this color scheme isn't good. Like the energy, like the way it looks. I think Megan would be proud. Also, by the way, I love the skin.
The odds were against us, Tenno.
I don't know what we got it for. I think it was the Conqueror, the Quest to Conquer Cancer. Freaking love it. Such a good game. Such a good skin. And you all die. Yeah, redirects all the projectiles. I wonder if I have that. Give me 1 second. I do. Alright, we're good. Well, that did nothing. I was trying to be cool. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. If you made it by this point of the video, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you were able to learn something. And next week we are gonna cover Grendel because I think he's one of them I forgot. And then from there we're gonna go to Foley. Because I do need to farm her. I've been procrastinating doing that, but I think with this event I might just go farm her. And then yeah, and we'll leave it at that. We'll be up to date with the Warframe showcase. Once again, all of these have been done for beginners, for people who are interested in a certain Warframe showcase, what the abilities do. I don't go into like a lot of detail because like this is meant for like newer players, so just keep that in mind. And yeah, if you want to see more content, more different content, let me know what's up. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Tell me what type of Warframe content would you want to see aside from all this, you know? I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of like knowledge of the game. I pride myself that when I started, that I did learn the game on my own without having to like without having to use a wiki and stuff. Cause like this game, if you were like super like, if you have like a hyperfixation or like ADHD, like freaking, this game is like perfect for you. Cause it scratches like all the boxes. So yeah. And if you wanna see what I did to Uriel, cause I know I talked about it. Um, I did this. I kind of want to see how his fourth is gonna look with that color scheme. Cause I love the way the energy color looks on Zephyr, so I kind of want to see what's up. But I'm gonna mess with this on my own right now. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like I said, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you all next week when we do Grand Duel. So, peace.